Alright, YouTube, yours truly, Sticks Hex and Hammer, is not tech illiterate. I know how to use phones, I just don't like phones. Love laptops, love blogs, and some of the stuff done there. But I may need some help in a few months, late this year, maybe early next year into spring. At some point, there's a good possibility. I'm beginning to outgrow the infrastructure that I've created for my literary work, as well as for everything else. That is, what I'm trying to do is build a system rather than simply achieve a goal. I'm going the Scott Adams route here. I'm trying to build a sort of empire of sorts online. Between the video content I make, the opinion that I give, both in text and video form, my literature, both things that I've written, things that I've edited, and all of my other endeavors, I'm trying to wrap them all together into sort of one package. The only way that I can do that I can think of effectively is to build at least one, possibly two websites. Buy the domains, get them hosted, and so forth. I have a basic working knowledge of how this functions. But as far as actually going through and building a website, one that will not just, exist, but also look good and function well, most of the basics as far as using code I've got down. Of course, I do my own code on Blogspot all the time, embedding chat rooms, making the links and so forth work and look fairly decent. I did that myself. So I do have a basic working knowledge of these things beyond simply can turn computer on. But I don't know how to build a fully functioning website. And lest I make a website and it looks like crap, doesn't really function, and craps out on me, it would be helpful if somebody who knows a little bit more about coding, you don't have to be a complete expert, but somebody who would know how to, for instance, have subpages for each entry of literature with links to Amazon, price listing, and description. I can format that myself, essentially. I just need to know how to link it back on a website. I'm used to Blogspot, so I don't know if it's exactly the same. And, just a main splash page that would have attractive looking links near the top for the different categories of literature, maybe different authors, if there's enough titles under certain authors to justify it, links to the occult series, the occult literature series, and so forth, a little sort of about me spiel. Just a fairly basic website. I'm not going for anything particularly fancy. It's really going to be more of a shop site as far as the first domain goes. The second domain would only be basically a splash page with links and tags and so forth to everything else. So it's probably not that complicated a job, and I could probably accomplish it myself, but rather than spend months learning how to do so, there's probably are people who can do it in a single afternoon, honestly. I'm by no means the best at coding and things like that. Have, a randomized embedded video or audio feed somewhere. Maybe have a radio station embedded on there with the best dark wave hits of the 80s or something like that. That's the sort of thing that I really want to build. I want it to be, it doesn't have to be particularly advanced. We're talking like late 90s style website or something like that. But it has to look good. Good enough so that if somebody lands on it, they actually find the website, they're looking for occult literature, they're looking for, material about the occult in general, or my analysis or whatever, that they won't be completely turned off by the way it looks. I don't want it to look like Drudge Report, in other words. I understand that the minimalist approach has certain fans, it has certain benefits, certainly a lot more simple, but at the same time I want something just a little more attractive. And once the site is built, I can go through and I can quite easily take the code, modify it, figure out how to do that. Again, it'd take me at most an hour or so to learn how to build more pages. Once it's done, if I'm adding more material, I can do that myself. It wouldn't be that difficult. That's essentially how I got started using Blogspot. I just plop in elements, test them in a post, see if they work. Took me some tries, but I figured out how to do it. Now I can use that code freely. I've done the same thing to the new ICQ chat as well, much to the vexation of the admin there that banned my username and tried to cache who I was on there as far as the IP to make sure that it would just automatically ban me if I showed up to try to register my nickname again. It was very, very funny. They obviously want precautionary steps taken. But yeah, it'd be appreciated if somebody who knows a little bit more about coding, somebody who's, a little bit beyond moderately knowledgeable about that could help me set it up, it would definitely be a help. I mean, perhaps talk about compensation too, for such a service. I, I'm not rich, but at the same time, nobody should be doing work for absolutely free. I anticipate it'd probably cause sales to pick up again, so I'd be willing to shell out whatever the amount is for a properly built website. Something, set up an email specifically for the website. I know you can use most of the domain registries. You get an email, a business email for free. But I'm looking at two specific domains, one of which is a really nice domain. It's apparently fairly cheap that appears to have been overlooked. I'm not going to disclose what it is, including to the person, anybody who messages me saying, yeah, I can help. You're not going to know what that domain is until I've already bought it up, because it's too good to let go of. I see good things happening with it. It's just part of my spiritual path. When I fixate on something like that, when I get that gut feeling telling me, yeah, that's probably a good one to grab, I'm going to grab it, and I don't want to risk the possibility of anybody else snatching it out from under me. So yeah, if I could get some help with that, again, it wouldn't take very much help. Essentially just showing me how to do it, and then I can do the rest myself. And I'll probably have to put a bunch of code in a TextPad file. That's fine. I've done that many times. But it's going to be an empire. Yeah, it's going to go well beyond just a YouTube channel and a blog, as far as my work goes, trust me. That's about all. Peace out.